July 28, 2021, Playday 9 of the NAL Stage 2, the final day of NAL Stage 2. And in this day, the final two teams qualifying for the Mexico Major will be decided. It will be two of Dark Zero, Disrupt, and Sonics. The first game of the day is Dark Zero versus XSET. If Dark Zero can take the win here, even if they do it in overtime as they normally do, they will qualify for the Major. And they do win this game, and they do it without overtime for the first time this stage. Dark Zero takes Consulate over XSET, 7-4. In round 2, we see Hyper get a 4K and a 1v2 clutch. In round 4, Thomas gets a 3K to help his team win the round. In the first half of the game, Razor goes 3-3 on entry, meaning he was involved in all 6 of the opening duels in this half. In round 8, Eclipse gets a 4K after XSET try to quick plant the bomb and are less than 1 second away from succeeding. In round 10, XSET get their first attacking win of the game. And finally in round 11, Dark Zero hits 7 rounds and secures the game and the Major for themselves. This is Dark Zero's first regulation win of the stage. In this game, Panda goes 5-2 on entry, very impressive stat line, and he went 4-0 on entry on defense. So at the end of the stage, Dark Zero's record ends up being 7-1 if you're just looking at wins and losses and not taking into account the effect of going to overtime, which ties them on record with Space Station. Both went 7-1, and so actually if you got the same number of points for winning in overtime as you did for winning without overtime, Dark Zero would be first place in this stage because they have the tiebreaker over Space Station. And I guess this is just as good a time as any to mention the Space Station versus Beast Coast match that was supposed to happen today did not happen. Beast Coast forfeited to SSG because Rudy was unable to play, and I suppose it didn't really matter. SSG was already locked for first place, and I suppose if Beast Coast won, they could have overtaken XSET, but realistically that probably wasn't going to happen. So we only got 3 games for the day, and that game counts as SSG winning 7 rounds and Beast Coast winning no rounds.
And it's all on Geo to try and hold this one off. A nice kill on Nakino. That's Diffuser down. Geo has a lot of work to do. 2 remaining members of OXG, Michael. They're going to need to grab the Diffuser and begin to plant. Laxing takes some damage. You can hear the Scorpion go off for Geo as he's now going to play Ring Around the Rosie with them. Looks to his left, looks to his right. Does he hear him creeping up on him? They're a lot closer than he thinks. He can connect a little bit, but that guns might as well be firing Nerf bullets. Pulls out the pistol. Damage done to his back. He's on 1 HP on the ground. Oh my God, Geo!
Next up is TSM versus Oxygen on Oregon. I think the Twitter poll said that 91% of people thought that TSM was going to win this game. And of course you'd expect that. TSM looked very good this stage and Oxygen did not look good, but Oxygen was out in force for their last game of the stage, and maybe TSM was taking it easy because at this point they were already secured second place. It didn't really matter for them the result of this game, but still Oxygen looked way better than them in this game. TSM only wins 3 rounds. The score was 7-3, and 2 of them were off the backs of 1v3 clutches. In round 2, Geo gets a 1v3 clutch. In round 3, Chala gets a 1v3 clutch. In round 4, Laxing falls off the roof and gets downed, then he gets picked up, and then shortly after he gets killed. In round 4, Yaga gets a 4K. In round 5, Faceit gets a 4K and a 1v3 clutch. After winning round 5, Oxygen call a timeout. This is the second time a team has done that this stage. Disrupt did it earlier in the stage. That is calling a timeout after winning a round. In round 9, we see the first play of the kitchen dining objective of the stage, and the only one. Both teams go 5-5 on entry, and TSM, as I said earlier, only won a single round without a 1v3 clutch, and there were no plants in this game. By winning this game, Oxygen moves up from 7th place to 6th place, putting Mirage down to 7th place.
All of their pressure into a blue take.
They just rush on in, Michael, and they are met with a chorus of applause from TSM, who knew this was coming, and yet they were still able to capitalize off of it. Laxing's a little bit too slow, but Faceit is making them pay. The only problem is he doesn't have access to that diffuser. He knows that there's one, and a beautiful shot from him. He takes down Merc. And we see a clutch this time around, simply on the shoulders of Faceit. If not, it's Chala to win. Grenade goes out. Explosion goes off. 20 seconds left. Chala's still playing on this angle, but Faceit is better. Goodness gracious.
The third and final game of the day was Disrupt versus Sonics. Because of the result earlier in Dark Zero's game, it would be the winner of this game, regardless of overtime. That would be the final team to qualify for the Major. So the stakes don't get too much higher than this. The teams agreed to play on Consulate, which Sonics have played a lot on this stage to mixed success, and Disrupt, over the course of this stage and last stage, have been very successful on the map. So it was questioned if if this was the right pick for the Sonics. Disrupt started on defense and took the first 2 rounds of the game, making it look like this would be a Disrupt map as people expected, but Sonics fired back and won the next 2 rounds, tying the map up 2-2. Notably in round 3, Rexon got a big 3K to secure the round for Sonics. Then round 5 went to Disrupt and round 6 went to SQ. The teams switched sides at a 3-3 scoreline. Sonics took the next round and then Disrupt took the round after that, tying the teams up 4-4, but then Sonics would take the 3 rounds after this to secure the map 7-4 and thus securing the major for themselves. Disrupt played all 4 defensive sites in the first 4 rounds of the game. In round 7, it came down to time as Super wins a 1v1 by simply staying alive against Shuttle. And now at the end of stage 2, the only team in the top 4 for both stages has been the Sonics. Rexon was really doing work this game. He ended up 15-7, and the only other person who went positive in kills on his team was Grixer, but Grixer still didn't manage to get a positive rating on SiegeGG, Rexon being the only one on his team to get a positive rating, whereas there were 3 members of Disrupt that got positive ratings, DP Fire, J9O, and Retro, but of course it was not enough to win them the game. So the 4 teams going to the Mexico Major will be Space Station Gaming, TSM FTX, Dark Zero, and the Susquehanna Sonics.
Rexon still lording above them. He'll need to get as quickly as he can to his teammates. Super pops up, outdueled by Retro. Kansan firing away. He's taken down. It'll need to be Rexon to play a hero. And he's getting a ping. He sees him, but can he get the position? Yes, he can. And the Sonics will get their spot at the Mexico Major. They take it 7-4.
And now for the final standings of Stage 2. From 1st through 9th place, we have Space Station, TSM, Sonics, Dark Zero, Disrupt, Oxygen, Mirage, XSET, and Beast Coast. SSG with an extremely dominant stage, putting up a differential of 37. And of course, that's inflated a little bit because presumably Beast Coast might have taken a few rounds if their game had actually gone down. And something I find really insane is that they only lost 18 rounds, and 8 of those round losses came in a single game, which was their game against Dark Zero that they lost. And of course, they didn't play one game because Beast Coast forfeited to them. So over the course of 6 games, if you're disregarding versus Beast Coast and Dark Zero, they lost only 10 rounds. 10 rounds lost in 6 games. That's insane. In effect, by them forfeiting, SSG 7-0'd both XSET and Beast Coast. TSM had a differential of 14, which coincides with their 2 7-0 victories that they had. Without those 2, they'd be even on differential. 3rd place Sonics and 4th place Dark Zero. As I said earlier, Dark Zero could have been 1st place if the point system worked differently, but they ended up in 4th place, which I'm sure they're still fairly happy with. They still get to play at the Major. Disrupt lost their game and thus missed out on the Major. Very disappointing for them. Oxygen managed to bump themselves up to 6th place from 7th and putting Mirage into 7th, which is a bit of a letdown as they did end up last stage in 3rd place. But now the cracks are really starting to show without the absolute hero hot and cold on their team. And the bottom 2 remain XSET and Beast Coast, although they did switch places. And overall, they did worse than they did last stage. I think Beast Coast ended up on like 8 or 9 points and XSET had 5. Whereas on this stage, they have 5 and 3 for XSET and Beast Coast. And as you can see, a very abysmal performance from Beast Coast. They didn't manage to win a game. Their differential was -33. And it seems like overall, barring a few things that might change in the future, it looks like the power rankings for NA are sort of starting to shake out for the season. We only have one more stage to play before the season is over. And so I guess we'll see where we are at the end of that.
Oh, it was actually apparent. Well, I mean, sir, Cyano, is there a raptor on this map, sir? Because there's not a raptor on this map, sir. There's no raptors here on Consulate. You mean the skylight, sir? I'm assuming he means skylight, guys. So he probably died by the skylight. Cyano, I don't mean to put you on blast, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Raptor is more of a generic call. I feel like you can kind of just apply that to a couple different
How do you
spots.
apply a raptor to a skylight? Anyway.
That spot looks kind of raftery to me there. Ranching off to that.
It's more of a balcony, actually, sir.
Yeah,
but either way, though.
Pattern as this match.
Oh, he fell off the roof.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm sure that they'll have a fun time uploading that clip. Laxing gets brought back up. There's no gunfire that's hit anybody in the server just yet, but Laxing is obviously hobbled. Achieved to put him out of his misery. From the back, the Kansan will hit it.